Yeah, 11 now.
That's it.
Dude, welcome.
Yeah.
So, who's our guest for PCB Show episode 11, man?
Man, we've got a cool guest. Cool.
Dude, this guy's smooth as.
Man, if you knew how nice this guy smelled right now. Smells
Seriously, it's just called a shower. You're good to go.
I don't know.
Shakes, yeah.
I don't know
Shakes.
me.
He's an OG Krumper, so I've heard in the scene, man, and he's going to drop some bombs and educate us a bit as well. I hope. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Been watching your guys' podcast as well, and it's been really good to.
Yeah.
We're up to 11 now, which is crazy.
Yeah, we made it, man.
You know.
We made it more than one episode.
And the location keeps changing too, which is good.
Is it? Oh, okay.
You started off in the small room in the studio, then went into the room, then
Now
we ended
we're
up here.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Nice.
Is it hard? Is it hard to get it consistent with the timing and scheduling?
It's all an upgrade.
Yeah.
Let's call it an upgrade.
It's an upgrade. Yeah, we might just stay here. So.
Yeah, cool. Man.
So, what have you been up to? So, who is Shakes anyway? Because you're the second Krumper that we've had on here as well.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I'll keep this on here.
Oh,
Yeah. So my real name is Luke. Not many people know that. Only because people refer to me by like my nickname, which is Shakes.
Yeah.
So trace it back a bit even further.
Yeah.
It used to be Shaker Boy when I was like younger. When I was just like 15, 16, around that age.
Yeah.
And that was actually a name that was given to me by a friend of mine.
Yeah.
When when that movie Honey came out.
Yeah.
So when that
I
movie
don't know
came
what
out,
that is.
and then people started to do the Harlem Shake, which inspired from that movie, and so I started to do it, and they were like, "Oh, your name should be Shaker Boy," because you're just like doing that.
Really?
That's
That
how
was
it
your favorite movie?
So that's how it all started for me.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, I went to Shaker, which is like my after I finished school, 18 to 20, everyone started calling me Shaker, but now everyone just calls me Shakes. So there's a bit of history to that name. So
Sick.
Hell yeah, man.
Do you do a bit of Harlem shaking in your Krump?
I used to,
Yeah.
not anymore. Not anymore, but I always just, every time when people ask me, "Oh, where'd you get your name from?" I would take them right back to the beginning. Yeah. Because it's funny because when that movie came out, that was like sort of the same time as Krump came out.
Oh.
So I got my name, then Krump came out, then I quickly jumped into this Krump.
Right.
Yeah, and then it's all history from there.
So that was your story, 15-year-old Shakes
Yeah.
saw the movie Honey,
Yep.
and then Krump came after that. So how did you go from Harlem Shake to Krump?
I think it's so like the area that I grew up in, which is like South Auckland, which is like the ghetto of Auckland.
Oh yeah.
Basically.
Right.
So like Otara is the area that I grew up in.
Yeah.
And that area, like in that time, was predominantly known for like gang violence, fights, gangs were coming up on a rise in that time. So that's the area that I grew up in. So it's quite fitting that Krump came about because the opposite, what I felt was the opposite to gang was Krump family and all that sort of stuff. So if I didn't have the outlet of Krump or the option of Krump, who knows where I'll be today? Oh. Seriously.
Damn.
It's just pretty crazy.
Wow,
So I am pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Like there's like me and there's a handful of us that started Krump together.
Yeah.
And we stayed together, but everyone else that we were friends with just turned to gangs and you know, all that bad stuff. So pretty lucky to be honest. So
wow. So how did you find Krump? Was Krump? So obviously you did Harlem Shake. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how did you find Krump?
One of my boys, he used to order shoes from over in America.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then at the same time, he used to order like DVDs and that sort of stuff, like the new ones that came out. Yeah. So he got this DVD, it was this Krump DVD called Shake City 101. So Rise is like the OG like Krump movie that everyone knows about.
Oh, okay.
But before Rise was Shake City 101, which was like the beginning where it was transitioning from clown into Krump. So he was like, "Bro, I've got this DVD." Yeah. I don't really like watching DVDs, these dance ones, but I know you like dancing, so check it out. So I watched it. and I just was glued to the screen the whole time. And when the movie hit the credits, I started it again, and I watched it like 3 times in a row. Honestly, it was crazy. And then after that, I was like sitting there, I was like, man, I just stood up and just gave it a go. I was like, oh, this is not bad. I guess I'm sort of doing it right.
Yeah.
Then I started to talk to my boys, and I was like, bro, check this DVD out. So they came over, we watched it, and they were like, man, we can do this.
Oh yeah.
I was like, really? And I was like, yeah, let's give it a go. So I think the next like 2 weeks after we watched that DVD, we started to try some of the moves, like just copy them for what they were doing.
Yeah.
It was easier to replicate instead of trying to like make something new, because we didn't have no foundation, no nothing of what the actual dance was.
Yeah.
All we knew was just copy what they're doing, and that's considered as Krump. Then Rise came about, and so I had a lead before Krump actually started in New Zealand. So there was only like a handful of people who knew about the Shake City 101 DVD in New Zealand.
Yeah.
But then when Rise started, that's when the rest of the Krump scene started in New Zealand.
So you got a leg up.
Yeah, that's right. So I was
it's
pretty lucky there. So
what was it that made you just fall so in love with this movie or the dance, just watching it? Like,
I think
some bits that just made you...
I think for me, it was just like, they looked like they were having like a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And so that's what drew me closer to what they were doing, and it resonated with me because I'm a fun person.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, I'm sure I can try this. And when I tried it, sure enough, I had definitely had fun.
Yeah.
And then as time went on, then I started to figure out that there was like foundational moves, which is the jab, chest pops, foot stomps, and all that sorts of stuff. And then I felt it was natural to me. I think that's why it came. That's why I stayed with it, because I felt it was just really natural. Yeah. Like the same as the Harlem Shake, I felt it was natural, so I just started doing it. You know, so I think with anything natural, you tend to stick to it because you don't have to work too hard. Yeah. As opposed to other styles that you have nothing about. But yeah, so that was Krump for me. So.
Yeah. I've got 2 questions. First question is, were these movies theatrical movies, or were they actually just like videos of events?
It honestly looks like it's like they got a camera and they just pull up to a spot and they're like, bro, film me. And then they all just jump in and they just start. I'll send you a link, like a little clip to what it looked like back then. And it's so raw, like no edits, no nothing. Like there was like, block text come up for a title, and then title will go away, and then they're like talking, and then next minute they're just like crumping on the side of the road, and it's crazy. So I think So.
And the second question is, you mentioned a term called clown.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah. So
you mind explaining what that is?
Yeah. So clowning is like I don't know if you heard this guy. His name's Tommy the Clown, and Tommy the Clown was a guy. You could almost look at him like a youth leader or something like that. Yeah. And he used to take kids from around the hood, and pull up to different spots, play music, dress up like a clown, and just give good vibes every single time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's and they would paint their face, literally paint their face like to the full extent. He had like a colourful afro. Yeah. And the steps to the moves that they were doing is very fast, and it's almost like doing that, but like in a more like a upgraded hip hop way, if that's the way you want to put it. Yeah. And it's really just consists of just like really like shaking, doing like the sea walk and incorporating like that sort of footwork and that sort of stuff. But just when clowning was about, that evolved so quickly, and so Miho and Tie-Dyes, which is like the 2 originators of Krump, they were doing clowning when clowning came out. But when Krump came, they decided they wanted to do their own thing, something different. So if you watch clowning and then you watch Krump, it's totally different, and that's the avenue that they've taken what I do now to a whole different like side of things. So I would say if they didn't do Krump, then we'd probably all still be clowning. For you to put it in perspective. What? Yeah, crazy.
Like the Joker?
Yeah, no, it's serious. Like imagine that if they didn't decide like, man, we can do something that's more heartfelt, more emotional, more a reflection of what we're feeling, then we'll just be clowning and being clowns and that sort of stuff.
There's still a scene for clowning.
I think there is. I think there is. Not that I see as much, but I know that the era of clowning is still about different places. Probably not as big as it used to be, but I know that there's that culture that's still around.
In Australia?
No, I have definitely not.
Do you remember a couple of years? No, it was more than a couple of years ago. People used to dress up in a clown suit. And like
like jump scare, right?
They were like running up to people on the road and stuff. And costumes. Man, there was a few down here in Rockingham.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
There was a page. There was a page, like a Facebook page, and it was just like, we're gonna be here at this time, sort of thing. Yeah. And it was like, we went to go check one out. I think it was like in Coburn area somewhere. Yeah. And no one turned up, but I thought it might have been a hoax, but we were all keen to see what it was about. And then,
no clowning?
No clowning. They definitely went dancing. I think they're trying to scare the kids. So
that was pretty messed up, actually. I think some people took it really far, right?
Yeah, because people started to, like, the videos started off as people coming out of the bush dressed as clowns and scaring people. Next thing you know, the next video is that people are holding machetes and running after people, and people getting so scared. So it just escalated and got really bad. So I'm actually glad it doesn't happen anymore.
Thank God for TikTok.
Oh
God.
Are you on TikTok?
I am.
Do you do? Oh,
I am.
Give yourself a shout out, man.
Yeah,
for sure. It's funny, but I actually jumped on TikTok and just watch and see what everyone was doing.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And then I started to do it properly because Traj and JJ, which is the other two boys I dance with, they were like, bro, let's do a TikTok together. So then they were like, okay, let's do one. So we ended up doing a TikTok that this guy done in New Zealand. He was blowing up. So we were like, let's do his one because we'll probably blow up too. No. So anyways, we done this TikTok video, and that was the first one. And we done it together in my garage. This is like sort of during COVID or just after COVID was finished. We put it up and we're like, we can probably do a bit more of this. So it was pretty fun just to do like a 20-second piece together and just have a bit of fun. So that's all it really was for us, or for me anyway. So wow, I do have a TikTok account. Get yours.
What is it? What's
my name, bro? OG_Shakes. You can find me on TikTok. Follow me.
Hell yeah, man! That's so good.
I didn't realize that.
Are you on TikTok?
Nah, I couldn't.
What about you?
Nah, I'm not on it. Might get banned soon. I don't know.
Get your content out before it gets banned.
It's good to see that you guys have really embraced this new wave of media with open arms. Because I'd imagine that not a lot of people your age would be like that.
100%. Yeah, because I'm 30.
Oh, that's mad young.
So you an OG.
Oh yeah.
Shit, that's cool.
The youngest OG you ever meet. No. But TikTok and all those other social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, it just really helps to not connect with the community and show what you're personally doing in your community, or just really communicate to everyone outside of Australia that there is other stuff happening besides we've got the YMCA Jam that happens, and then we've got other little bits and pieces, but in between that, the little pockets, we're doing this, you guys are doing that. That's all, and we just use that platform to show that we're still active and still doing stuff, which is good.
True. You got like your own group of Krumpers as well, Krump fam. Is that what we call it? At the skate arena, Ice Skate Arena.
Is it
still there?
Wait, what?
No, so we have a Krump session called the Bucktown session, and we created that because there was no Krump sessions in south of the river, because everything was happening at SciTech. SciTech's quite a common place. And so we were like, we know that that's well established and that's been going for a while now, which is good. So let's branch off and make one down here closer to, the Coburn area and everyone down Rockingham. So if they want to come, it's a shorter drive. and they can, you know, go home and not have to drive 50 minutes to get home as if we were to go to the city. So that's where we have the Bucktown session at the Coburn Youth Centre, which is next to Macca's.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So that's where we jam on Monday nights.
Wait, outside of the building?
Yeah, you know where the basketball hoop is?
Yeah.
And the bombies are on by the stage?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we jam. So they got power outside. They got power outside and lights as well, so it's really easy. Yeah, so that's where we do the Bucktown sessions, and then the other place that you were talking about is where we have Freedom Academy, which is the dance classes. And
I've seen it. How did you get from Auckland to Perth? What's that story? So you're still crumping in Auckland. How old would you have been when you made the move? Where did you go after Auckland?
Auckland is where I started.
Yep.
Then I travelled down to Wellington, which is like the last stop of the South Island. Yep. And I was there for about 2 years.
Yeah.
Then I moved back to Auckland. Then me and Chrissy, we got married. Yep. And then after that, we moved to Sydney. So Sydney was the first stop for Australia. So we moved to Sydney. We were there for about 3.5 years, and then we moved here. And we've been here for the past 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, for sure.
We haven't been here long, but it feels like it's been ages.
Did you engage or interact with the Krump scene in Sydney much?
No, I didn't. I sort of had a break when I moved to Sydney. I think I just wanted to sort of just do other things at that time. I gave dance a break, like fully. Oh, not fully, but I tried to. I tried to give it a break. You know, you can't step away from dance. So, but I tried to focus on just working and just like, you know, making money and all that sorts of stuff. And then I think just the passion of dance just came back and was like, go and dance again. So I was like, oh, okay. So I went along to like some of the sessions that they had, but I wasn't really active in Sydney. I was doing more like choreography dancing and crew dancing as opposed to Krump as well. But I didn't really start back in Krump until I moved here. I didn't.
Well, how about Wellington, or when you moved back to Auckland?
Yeah, I was
in New Zealand the whole time.
New Zealand the whole time.
Right, for sure. So you made the move to Sydney for your careers, or just to pursue a different?
Just to try the lifestyle and just to make a bit more money. It's like the minimum wage in New Zealand is like pretty low. I think at that time was like $12.50 or something like that. But like everyone in Australia, even all my friends were like, "Bro, I just started a new job, $30 an hour." I'm like, "Dang, I'm coming! I want some of that."
Man, I got my ticket already.
Yeah, that's right. So, and lucky enough, when I first moved to Sydney, I started off a removals contracting job. Got my own truck, and I was just like making good money straight off the bat. So it really worked well for me. So. I'm actually glad I did leave New Zealand. Like, I love New Zealand, don't get me wrong. Home is always going to be home. But I think like if I didn't leave New Zealand, then I guess everything that I'm doing here in Perth would never be happening. So works hand in hand.
And what are you doing in Perth? Tell us about.
So obviously, you know, we have Freedom Arts Academy, which is a dance academy that has been going for about 3 years now. And so the reason why, I'll explain why we started Freedom Academy. So one of me and Chris, he's a really good friend of ours that used to live in Sydney with us. A really young guy, 18 years old. He had like a league career ahead of him. He was really good at like rugby league, and he was just like he was a star, and he had the looks and everything with it as well. So we found out that he had committed suicide, and it just broke us because we were here and we got the call, and they were like, "Yo, this has happened," and we're like, "Damn." So we like the next day we flew back out to be by his family, because we were real good friends, you know, because we didn't have many friends in Sydney, but they were close to us. And so we went there and we helped the family, done whatever they needed us to do. We were just there to help and just to serve. And then after all of that happened, we made our way home. And on the flight home, we were looking at each other and we're like, what are you thinking about? She's just like, man, we got to do something. And then I was like, what are we going to do? And then we're like, man, I think it's time for us to start a dance academy. We're like, man, we tried to do it in Sydney. We just gave up because it was too hard basket. We tried to do it in New Zealand, but we just gave up because it was just too hard. But we felt if we were to start it now, the reason why we would start it is because like the statistics at that time of the suicide rate around the 16 to 18 years were like through the roof. Like was through the roof, like it was crazy. And we're like, we can't have that happen to the next generation, which we're trying to pass on this dancing to. So we're like, okay, so if we're going to start Freedom Academy, this is why we're starting it. We're starting it so that we can create a safe place for teenagers or for troubled people that are, that are going through a hard time, to give them a home, give them a family, and give them a safe place where they can just express, use the tools that we know, teach them so that they can use it as an outlet, so that suicide isn't the only way out of their situation. So then we came back. We started Freedom Academy. We started at the ice skating arena, and we're still there now. And the first lot of people that we encountered when we first started this were broken people, like straight off the bat, broken people. We weren't getting the guys that were having high paid jobs or drive a nice car. It was the people that have to catch public transport. Their families are struggling, they can't find a job, or a job won't take them for whatever reason, and that's the sort of people that we got. And we were very lucky because that's the people that we wanted. Because why we started this was for these people, So we took these guys and we just, we weren't trying to tell them about suicide's not the way to go. We weren't trying to do put that in their face. We were, we were teaching them, showing them that we were like through dance we can be happy, we can be positive, and that you can make good connections, good friends, and just lead by example. That's all we could have done. And so when we started Freedom Academy, and that first year that we started, the people that we had come to us, there was a huge transformation in their lives. They got jobs. They were confident in themselves to, not just be confident on the dance floor or with their people, but to go out and be confident in their workspace so that they can get a pay rise, get a car and all that sorts of stuff. So we felt that it was definitely working, and that the reason why we started this, thanks to my bro Phoenix, that this was definitely going to work. So that's been the backbone of Freedom Academy still to this day, and that's why we continue to do what we do, because it's no longer about us, or me and Chrissy, because we've had our time, we've traveled, done competitions, won, all that sorts of stuff, but it's no longer about us. It's about making sure that the next generation that steps in, they step in knowing that they're going to be safe, so that the time that they decide that dance is the avenue that they want to take, then the next step is when they want to step out, they're good to go. Then it's not like they're like, oh, I'm too scared to go to this class. It's like, oh, this class is on, let's go. That's the sort of confidence we want them to have, because that's what we had when we're back in New Zealand. So so that's how Freedom Academy came about, and we're still running strong. Teaching classes on Tuesday nights, teaching junior class. Chrissy teaches our junior class, and I teach the beginner class for open adults, like the 13 and up, and then there's a few of us that teach the intermediate and advanced class. So
Damn,
that's a bit of a mouthful there, but
no, that's a beautiful story, man. Thanks, that's a good reason to do it, and dancing really does do that for you. It builds, it helps you with all these life principles that you take on through the real world, right? You can develop them through your dance. It's a great way to start some youthful, choose trouble. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, So it just gives us more of a reason as to what we're doing, you know. People can dance just for dance, but if you've got more of a push and reason behind it, I think it makes it more powerful. And the people that we're trying to target, we just love on them and just give them everything that we got. Because like I remember when I first stepped into the Corrie scene back in New Zealand, that's what the OGs were doing to me. And so it just only makes it right to try and like take that and implement it into what we're doing, and then just give it out. So yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
You mentioned that as well, that you won some events, and did some. Could you give us some?
Yeah, for sure.
Tell us what and where'd you travel to?
So I'll talk about travel first. So travel, I've traveled to the States.
Oh, did you know?
Yeah, so I've been to LA, Vegas, Chicago, New York. So those are the places that I've been. And the competitions, so like HHI, which is like a choreography competition for crews. Very huge, like, you know, in the industry right now. And like that's all, if you're in a crew back in New Zealand, that's what you look for. That's what you train for all year, to get that, you know, like top 3 spot to go and represent your country, go over to America and just test what you know and what you've got against the world. You know, that's nothing but it beats being on that world stage. So the first year I went as a tutor. So our team that we were taking qualified to go to Worlds to represent New Zealand.
Dude, that's a big deal.
Bro,
that's a real big deal.
Yeah, and that was real huge for me because, you know, when you've come from like a, you know, that.
Alright, we're back in business. Anyways, man, so you went to the States. What year was this, by the way?
This was 2010.
Yep,
right. So this was 2010. And we took this team out of Otara. That was just, you know, all gang violence and all that sort of stuff. There was nothing for the youth, but, you know, to leave that place, to travel overseas to represent your country amongst many other great dancers is a huge deal. So so we went along, took our teams. The team's done well. They didn't make it to the finals, but they I think more importantly, they took away the experience. So the experience of rubbing shoulders with the greats, with people that you watch on YouTube, that you've been watching them for years, and now you finally get a chance to shake their hand, is a big deal for someone that comes from a family that has nothing. So we went along, and I didn't compete that year. I only just was there as a teacher. And then, so fast forward 3 years, when we moved to Australia, when we were living in Sydney. So this is when, you know, I told you that I tried to stop dancing for a bit. That didn't work. I ended up starting to dance. And then so we put this team together because regionals was just around the corner. And this team, they called it an all-star team because it was the key top members of teams from back in New Zealand that were the killers back in New Zealand. So there was like teams like Desire 2.0, which was my cousin, and he was the one who led that team. Then there's another guy from Fregador, and he was the leader of that team as well, a different place in New Zealand. And then there was 2 other dancers from Sweet and Sour Dance Crew, which were the top dance crew at a certain time. And so we were all friends because of our history back in New Zealand. So we're like, yo, this competition's around the corner, these want to jam. And we're like, okay, let's do it. So we just came together. I think it was 2 weeks, we just put something together. And then we turned up to regionals, and people knew us individually as like dancers and where we came from. They did not expect to see us come together as a team to compete. So this was a team full of New Zealanders competing in an Australian dance competition. That if you win, you go and represent Australia. It's just pretty funny. That's so weird. Like, even when I think about it now, it's like a team full of New Zealanders going to America to represent Australia, the other flag. So
multicultural.
I know exactly. So we won the regionals.
Damn.
We qualified. We came first, and then so we were. Next step was America for us. So the competition was in Las Vegas at the Hard Rock Center there, and we went there. And we didn't know how we were going to do because we just hadn't danced for that long, but we were just going along for the ride, and whatever happens, happens, because we were growing up at that time. So we went there, we entered the competition. The prelims, we done the prelims, we had a good run. And then after that, we watched the other teams, we're like, damn, everyone is tight, man. And we actually thought that we weren't going to make it through. So we went home. Back to our accommodation. We went back to our accommodation, brought out the drinks, and we're like, man, this has been a good trip, boys. Let's have a drink together. So we're just pouring our drinks on the table. We're just getting ready to cheers each other. Chrissy gets a call. She was like, and they were like, where are you? We're like, oh, we're back at the accommodation. The boys are gonna have a drink up. And then they were like, they made it through to semis.
Oh shit.
And she was just like, no way. So anyways, she hung up the phone. She was like, wait. Before you guys have your drink, you just made it through to semis. Give me your drinks and get to work. And we're like, no. Because we were just, we all the boys were together. We were just keen to just have a drink and a good time together. So we're like, put the drinks down, put our shoes on, went to the studio, and then we went back to work. Changed a bit of the routine, and then we hit semis. And then we done our performance at semis, which was a lot better than our prelim round. Yeah. And then after that, we stuck around and waited for the results. So in prelims, we came 10th. Yeah. And then in semis, we came 9th equal. So us and another team came 9th equal. Yeah. The reason why we didn't make it through is because they had a higher performance score than us. Yeah. Right. So they made it through and we just missed out. Yeah. And that was the end of the trip for us. Or not the end of the trip because we've done heaps of other stuff. But I think that competition was pretty funny because the teams that we used to dance with in New Zealand were there representing New Zealand. Hey. The boys that I used to jam with back, when I was living in New Zealand, they were there representing New Zealand as well.
So every country was there.
And they're like, we're training over here, and they're all Team New Zealand's training over there, and Team Australia's over here. But really, we want to go back to that side. But we're competing against them. Yeah, exactly. So
wow, man.
So that was a good opportunity for us.
What's the space between doing the prelims and then rehearsing for the semis?
Oh, it's days. It's like a week and a half event.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Holy shit, a week and a half event, man. You're in Vegas for a week and a half.
Oh, we were there for 2 weeks. I know, and we were staying just on the strip of Vegas. So you just look downstairs and everything's there. So, but it's days between your next round, and so a couple days.
That's pretty fun.
So that was our first trip to Vegas to represent Australia. Whoop. And then so that's the choreography scene. Yeah. And then stepping into the battle scene, which was where Krump and all that freestyling stuff sort of comes from. There was events, not really events, but there was always battles, little mini events in New Zealand all the time. Yeah. It's just the battle culture in New Zealand at that time was crazy. And so when I jumped over to Sydney and I compared the two, I felt like New Zealand was just on this rise, and not just only Krump but all other styles as well, locking, breaking was real huge as well. And then there was an event that was held in New Zealand, and it was called Kill Off 2. Yeah. And so Kill Off 2 is they got a little homie section. So if you're a little homie to a big homie, you enter this section for your fam and represent. Yeah. Yeah. So I went against the top in New Zealand at that time, and I took it out. I won. I made it to the end. So I in my finals battle, it's meant to be 3 rounds, but my first round, not boasting, but my first round was so kill off that the guy that I battled didn't want to go again. And that was just like, that's how much I wanted it. I was just like, I want this so bad, and I'm just gonna do everything that I can and that I need to do to secure that win. And like, you know, and the rest is history.
So how old were you then in that event?
I think I must have been 19.
Yeah.
I was 19. Yeah.
Heaps of energy, man.
Oh, 100%. Danced a lot longer too. So, so that was like my first official like competition like win for Krump, which is crazy. And then I've been doing other all-style events and all that sorts of stuff throughout. So
Did you, when you were in the US, you went to all those cities in one trip?
Nah, different times. I've been there like a few times on different occasions. So when I finished school, so I finished school in 2008. And then my mum said, you got two options. You can work, three options. You can work, go to uni, or just go and do something that you want to do. And I was just like, I want to move to America. So I finished school and I moved to LA. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know nothing. The only lead I had was the teacher that I had at my school. She had family there, and I was just like, this is my plan. I want to go to the States to dance. She was just like, I've got family here in Redondo Beach, which is not far from Long Beach. You can go and stay with them and then just do what you need to do and just all the best. So my mum booked my ticket because she was working for airlines then, so I got a cheap ticket, flew to America. And then this family came and looked for me and picked me up from like the pickup area.
Oh my God.
They're like, are you Luke? And I was like, yep.
Sick.
And like, come on then, here we go. And I just, honestly, I did not know anybody. I just knew nothing. All I knew that I wanted to go there and make something of dance for myself. Whether it was Krump or was, you know, choreography dancing or teaching, whatever it was, backup dancing, whatever it was. So I spent a good 7 months in the States.
Holy crap, after high school?
Yeah, straight after high school. And so I was just doing like odd jobs here and there for the family. And they will pay me. And then it'll help me pay for my like classes that I wanted to do and to learn from different people and that sorts of stuff. So it was a really good run for me there. If I stayed there in the States, you know, I think, and I still think to this day, that I could have really made something of myself in like the professional industry, because that's what I was gunning for. But then my old man got sick. And then my mum was like, you might have to come home. He's not going to have long. And I was like, no. I was just like, man, everything's going well for me here. But, you know, family's family. So I hopped on the next flight back to New Zealand, and then like, a couple of days later my old man passed away. And then after that I just stayed put in New Zealand, and I just didn't have the desire to go back to America to chase my dreams, which was to be make dance as a career for myself. So then I ended up staying in New Zealand, and then that's where I met Chrissy. So that worked out well. So that worked out well. So there's levels to these stories, you know.
What made you think? What made like LA? Made you so confident that LA would take you to another level? Like,
I think through my research and through, like at that time, YouTube was like the hub for people releasing dance videos and that sort of stuff, and the main activity was happening in LA. So if anything was to happen for me, it would happen in LA. So all the agents and all that.
It started in LA, Krump.
Yeah, and not just any Krump. Like I think I'd done more like choreography dancing than I did Krump. Because like Krump could, at that time, Krump could only get me so far. But if I wanted to be a backup dancer for, I don't know, like Chris Brown or like Madonna or something something, you know, something totally different. Krump is not what Madonna does, but she does like, you know, but she does, you know, like real like mainstream dance, and I think that's what you have to do if you want to get your foot in the door and that sort of stuff. So
there's a lot of dancers there as well, right? That are trying to get to that position.
Do you end up trying out for any like agencies or?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I did. I actually I done an audition for one of Justin Timberlake's shows, like his tour, and so I done like a 3-stage audition where my first one was I had to audition amongst like 1,000 people. It was like room was huge. Like you know how like in class you have like a couple lines before you hit the mirror. It was lines upon lines. I was like at the back. It was you're just really trying to stand out. So that you can get chosen. Wow. So I done this audition and then it got chopped down to 200.
Yeah.
So from 1,000 people to like about 200 people. Yep. Then I made the second one, and then I done that audition, and then I went.
People was in the so after the second one, how many people now?
The last one was like 50 people.
Oh, okay.
And then from 50 they only take 8. But yeah, so I done those auditions and I missed out on the last one.
Wow.
Yeah, but I looked around the room and I was just like, there's no way I want to make the top 8, because like some of the people that were like I was dancing next to, some of the people I was watching online and studying and like being inspired by. So I'm just like, you know, a boy from back in New Zealand ain't gonna be the one to make the top 8 unless if I was trained in like jazz and like my posture and everything was correct, and they could believe that I could be like a you know the one. So I sort of it wasn't self-doubt, but I just knew that I probably wouldn't have a chance, and I was all good with that because I knew that I made it past the first stage, so that was huge for me. Then I made it past the second stage, and that was like even bigger for me. And so you know, I could have just kept doing that until I made it, you know, basically. So, but yeah, but that's all just things I wanted to do back then. But then, like, if I was like in my position now, and I was to compare that to what I done back then, I would much rather have what I got now, like over anything. Over anything, because then I wouldn't have met Chrissy. Then we got a little girl, Promise, so that's my first like little daughter, you know, and so I wouldn't have kids, and then, you know, meeting great guys like you guys and the rest of the guys here in Perth is, I think, means much more to me than going to dance for someone who's made millions and tours around.
Sick. Because you got a real family here too.
Yeah, that's right, 100%.
Wow. I really never would have thought that you went to HHI or you tried up for Justin Timberlake. Damn, that's some real type like backstory. Hey?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Makes me excited for these podcasts.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Learning these stories about people.
Yeah, and I guess these stories no one will really know unless you're willing to sit down and spend longer than 5 minutes to find out who someone is about and what they're all about. So these are good.
And what are you doing? You every Wednesday night as well. You go to YMCA as well.
Yep. So so I was talking about Bucktown sessions before. We actually put that on hold to come and bring all of our people to come and support the YMCA jam. So
Awesome.
you got to do what you got to do, man. It's like, you know, you got to look at the bigger picture. If we continue to run what we had in Coburn, then the attendance and the Krump is like just talking about the Krumpers wouldn't be the numbers that we have now. But like every week, our consistent numbers are like anywhere between 10 to 15 people, which is really good. Really good. So I don't mind. It's nice to see other people as well, other styles as well, and just, you know, catch up when you don't really get to see the guys around. For sure. So I
wasn't there last night, but I would like to know what happened actually. I have no idea.
Yeah, for sure. So Ahang put on a small mini event, a 7 to Smoke event. So it was just $5 to do the prelim round where you get to showcase, and then you just get, you know, choose a top 8, then into the battles you go.
For sure.
So there was like a good crowd. There was a good crowd in terms of supporters, as well as dancers as well. So there was quite a good number of dancers of turnout, and then the showcases were dope. Everyone came with it. You know, it was really nice to see the different styles that came through.
Yeah.
So we had the poppers, then we had representing the lockers as well. Then we had the breakers as well. Then we had the crumpers, and then we also had the voguers.
Yep.
Which is the working and voguers. So we had working, which was Renee, but then we had the voguing side, which was Dan as well, and like. He came with his get up. Hey,
he wore his drag.
Makeup and all, and it was really good because I think you know they haven't been going for long. So for Dan to come through and represent his community and what he's passionate about, and just coming with the full outfit just made it that much enjoyable to watch. 100%. So anyways, so we went into the 7th to Smoke, and
were you judging?
Yeah, I was judging. So it was me, Ahung, and Will.
You were MC.
MC. On the mic.
Like a DJ.
And 7th to Smoke was really good. I think for, you know, we haven't really had a 7th to Smoke for a really long time in Perth, especially because of COVID and different events. So it's been a long time, and no one made it to 7. And I was
that's normal. I actually think that's normal for a 7 to Smoke. We had a 25-minute time limit, which I admit is really, really short. But I think someone would have done it if we had longer.
Well, longer, definitely. I think the highest score was 4. 5? Renee was 5. Renee was on 5, and it was.
Renee won.
Renee won that. Congratulations! She took home the money and the hat, which is dope. And the battles were really, really good.
Who was in the battle?
We had Renee, Dan, Lil Hood, which is Ethan, Bao. Tammy, Terminator Tammy.
So that was such a good rounder. So she did Cameron put on if I remember correctly, it's like a really like 80s techno track,
and it was super slow in the intro of it.
So Tammy came out and did animation, real like I've never seen her do that before, and I was like, Terminator. It was tight.
Who else was there?
Zin, Taiju, as well, and Rin, the other 3. So Renee.
Rin, who's Rin?
Rin is the locker from Japan.
Oh, right.
I don't know if you've seen it before. Sure. So there's Renee, Tammy, Bao, Lil Hood, Zin, Taiju, Rin, and Dan. So 8. Do you have any personal highlights from that battle?
I do actually. So one, I think it was Dan's second round. Musicality choice was probably not something that he would have liked to dance to, but just the adjustment to what sort of music it was really good. So I really enjoyed that round. Also, Bao was probably one of my favorites for the night. Just like his character and just like the way he was executing his rounds was really killer, and I quite enjoyed that. And who else was there? And also Renee as well. Like I think she went the most rounds, and I was really impressed in how like her stamina was in regards to coming 100 every single round, even especially coming to the last round. She was in the last round, and if it was me, I would have been dead like many rounds ago. But just to hold her stamina and just to keep coming with her combos and keeping it clean and not be sloppy was really dope to see as well.
For sure.
That's it.
Me personally, as the MC's choice, I thought Scully's prelude round was nasty. I really liked it because he had to crump to a disco track, but like he was really feeling it, and I feel like he's done that a lot. Like you always see him like me personally, I always see him in All Stars battles like going off to like disco or like R&B.
Or James Brown, all of them.
100%.
Yeah,
that's like He's really good at that, man.
Yeah. I think he really learned a lot from his big homie, Ian Hood. Hood has got some crazy musicality, and he loves funk tracks as well. So like it only makes sense that Scully's really good at these funk tracks because they like whatever Hood is teaching him it's working, and he's able to adapt to like different like song styles, you know. Like whether if it's slow, then he knows how to be slow but technical. But even if it's funky, he knows how to be funky and technical. So always having that technical but being able to adapt to the different like textures. It's really, really good. So it feels that was dope.
Is that something you guys practice a lot as well? Yeah,
we try to like I don't know if you have like listened to many Krump like songs, but they're not always the same. Like there's some that are hard, some that are soft, and some that have like really nothing in it. So you got to create from scratch to make it work, you know, for yourself. So like it's good. Like I guess it's the same for breaking. Like there's different sorts of breaking songs that like the break beats and all that sorts of stuff, and it's the same for Krump as well. And just not just dancing to Krump songs as well, but trying to dance to other styles to help prepare for all styles battles and that sorts of stuff helps as well. So
for sure.
But it was a really good event, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Because
there's another one?
The next one comes around soon, because I know that there was some dancers that were there that I would have loved to see. I can't remember the bro's name, but he does break with you guys. There's a Chinese guy, sort of tall. I forgot his name.
Sam? Chinese guy, sort of.
He was sitting in the front. He was sitting in the front.
Darius?
No, not him. It was another guy.
What was he wearing?
He was wearing a black hat that night, and he was sitting right up the front. I remember he was filming. He was sitting in front of us. You have to show. See if you can pull up a photo, because I've seen him get down with you guys, and I know I asked him if he wanted to jump in, and he said nah, and I was just like, no, you better get in there, man, that's what I'm saying from the back. I know exactly.
I think I know.
There must be like another 4 or 5 people that I would have loved to see him jump in the 7 to smoke.
Yeah, me too. A lot of people
that was in the crowd, but. Sure good.
Is it Shadow?
No, not Shadow. He's a tall guy.
Sam. That's what
He's probably the tallest out of all the like the Chinese guys or Asian guys that are there.
I thought Jeffrey was.
The next one down.
Oh man, now I'm really getting. I was just like.
This dude?
Yeah, him.
Oh, so it is Sam.
Him. He was sitting in the front, and I seen Armin go, "Do you want to join?" He's like, "No." I was just like, "Bro, you need to get in there because you're dope, man." And you can only get like, what's the worst that can happen? You're gonna, you know, if you're doing a prelim round, then you're just showcasing, and if you don't get chosen, you don't get chosen. That's not, you don't lose anything, you know, but you just gain experience. Just that confidence of dancing in front of other people might not be there, but using these mini events to get that confidence will help you for like when home brand comes around, then you'll be ready for that, you know. So like I would have definitely loved to see him jump in there, or hopefully he jumps in the next one. So
what about some of the Krumpers on your side? Anyone who's next up?
Well, Scully and Hood was in there. No Mask, which is that one that battled Caleb. Remember that battle? The Caleb battled the girl. That she was in the prelim round as well. And I think I would have loved to see Sister Hayes, which is our one of our other girls as well.
Wait, let me get this right.
Izza?
Wait, so Sister Hayes is Nadia?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Hayes is Nadia.
Yeah.
And then her little homie is Sister Hayes.
Oh, okay. For sure.
Yeah.
Man, that's tight.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, I think that might be it. No, the boys are the boys. Then just.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Last week the previous week as well. You guys had a 4v4.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah. Tell us about that. I didn't get to catch that much.
Yeah, so Journey hit me up. He was just like, bro, let's let's try something different. I was like, I'm all ears, go for it. So he was just like, let's run a 4v4, 2 Krumpers and 2 breakers per side. I was like, dope. And I was like, did you have anyone in mind for who you wanted from the Krump side? And he was just like, no, but Taiju said that he wanted JJ and No Mask, or just Tarina, to go on their side. And then I was just like, okay, cool. So I think Journey spoke to Goldwyn. So Goldwyn was one that was on his side, and then I said to Lil Hood to jump in there as well. And so he was like, keep this on the low, because it'll be a nice little thing for for you guys, for our guys, for anyone who wants to come and watch a battle happen outside. For sure. So just keep it on the low, and we'll just, whoever's there is there, and we'll just run it. And so they came, and I was just like, bro, you ready to go? He was just like, yep, we're coming out. So they came out, and the battle was pretty, like, it was really unexpected for the guys, because sometimes when you're watching Krumpers, like I think in Scully's podcast, you were talking about like the energy and hype in that. So I'm like standing there, like we're all standing there, and we're just like hyping everybody. Every round we're just like overhyping, just because it's, we want them to have as much energy as they can to put out and just put on a dope showcase, or whoever it is. And Beast came out on his first round, and he was just like, he was ready to kill. I was just like, damn, he was on fire. His first round was crazy, and even in the second round, he went up to No Mask, and he done that little transition, and it was like bang. Then he came back, and he done this little part. I was just like, I went off, because that was crazy. That was crazy. That was crazy.
Wanted it, man.
For sure. Which is good. You gotta, when you battle someone, you gotta want it, man. You can't just turn up and give a weak round. You gotta give 100 so that your teammates are gonna back you 100%. So that was a nice little battle outside, and to have the breaking community come outside as well and jam with us as well, which was pretty cool. So we gotta do more of that.
But have you guys had any cages gone during during your sessions? Because I feel like I might have seen something or heard something too.
We actually done a cage last week. So we done a cage last week. And it's pretty funny. Shout out to Spaz if you watch this. But so we had a online competition that happened for Krump. And I'm really supportive to the guys, making sure that they post their rounds so that people can see how well they're doing, and that that there's stuff happening in Perth, and not just that, but these guys deserve to be seen, because I've watched them grow, and they've worked so hard to get to this place. But why get there and just keep it to yourselves? I think there is so much appreciation that can be shown from anyone when you post your round, and sometimes they don't like what they see, or they think it's not good enough, and all that sort of stuff. But I always tell them to put that aside, post your round, and first of all know that you're representing Western Australia, Perth, whether it's the street dance community or just the Krump community, whatever it is, your Krump fans and all that sort of stuff. So I told everyone to post their rounds, and everyone bar 2 people posted their rounds, and I said and I said to them on the last night, and it was maybe half an hour left until submissions were finished, and I said, if you don't post your rounds, you're getting caged.
Whoa.
And so the rest of the guys quickly posted their rounds, but 2 of them didn't post their rounds. So JXL and Spaz XL didn't post their rounds, so we caged them. So we caged JXL first, and I think he made it through 17 or 18 grueling rounds of just getting spanked, absolutely slaughtered, and he was dead on the ground, and he's just but that was a really good cage, because every single round he came with it. He didn't bring any weak rounds. He didn't do 10 seconds and then just walk off. I think he wanted to, he deserved what he got, which was the cage, and now he understands that next time I say post your rounds. So they understand that now, and that's the same for Spaz. He didn't post his, and we caged him last week, and I think he made it through like 14 or 15, and he's carrying injuries, but in the same breath, like he came with it, like he came heavy every round, and on his last round he was like giving up, like his arms were like going like this, start off with that, and they were just coming down, and I'm like, bro, pick your arms up. And he's like, he's back up here, and then they're coming back down. I was like, no. So we were just there to support him, just to get him there to the end. There's no better feeling than finishing like at 0, and you just got nothing left, but you just, you go home and you're just like, I gave my 100%. There's nothing more that I could have given, so I'm proud of myself.
They were passing out.
What's
the guy that I was pouring water over his head? He couldn't cool down. But he couldn't sweat. He wasn't sweating. I was like, oh shit, that's actually not good. I was like,
So that's the most recent cage that we've done. Was against Spaz XL,
cool,
so bit of experience,
bit of stories, bit of what's going on.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man, that's so tight.
That's sick. So, is there anything else that you want to mention?
Anything else I want to mention?
Yeah, anything.
Even touch up on what about Scully's podcast as well, if you wanted to. If you watched it, because you gave us a history lesson as well about it. But
I think as a leader in the Krump community, Krump is doing well, which is really good. We've got solid numbers, which is awesome as well, and it's always hard to try and keep people hungry and keep coming back, and because when you've been doing it for as long as I've been doing it for, it's so easy just turn away and go, I can't be bothered turning up today, and just stay at home and just watch Netflix or something. It's so easy to do that. So especially for these younger guys like Lil Hood, Baby XL, which is the little girl Karis, just trying to make sure that the platform for Krump is always going to be there for them, so that when they decide that it's too hard, then we're just like, it's not hard. Then I just share experience and be like, it used to be like this for me, blah 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 blah. But just come along, and we'll help you along the way. It'll be all good, and just giving them that reassurance. So that's been really good, and so I'm grateful, and I am super happy at where Krump is at for Perth, because you look at Melbourne's on lockdown, and they haven't really had much activity in terms of Krump because of the current situation. So in the same breath, we're lucky to be even coming together to YMCA Jam, because we could have been back on lockdown. So we just, with whatever time that we do have, just use it wisely and just use it to the most that you can, because you never know when it could just be taken away and you've got nothing. So so I'm super happy with where the guys are at with Krump. Shout outs to the XL fams, which is my fam, and then also the Hoods, the Hazes, and then everyone else that doesn't have a Krump name. Like Goldwyn uses his own name, which is killer, because he doesn't have a Krump name, but he just comes with it, like he doesn't need a Krump name. He just Krumps. So that's real raw. So shout out to everyone in Cop KM. And also in terms of the street dance scene here in Perth is, I would say, is really doing well as well. I think YMCA Jam has really helped to keep us together, to bring the communities together, and to move forward together, which is cool, because imagine if you guys were getting together on your own and you had no hype or no push from anyone else, it'll be like a slow progress. But I know that with our guys, that we love to come behind you guys and just help push you even more, so that you can progress, knowing that you will do the same for us, or for us to to the hip hop heads, or to the to the lockers and that sort of stuff. So I'm really loving and seeing what is coming out of the YMCA Jam. Everyone's starting to upgrade, which is what I can see because I love to observe and see that people are not just being stagnant, but they're actually progressing, which is dope. And you know, you always see me pop my head in and just have a look and see,
man, I see you checking
yeah. And that's me just checking in and just making sure that everyone's all good and that sorts of stuff. So pretty happy of where the street dance community is heading. Shout outs to Ahang, the man, piecing this all together, and for us to just sort of get behind him. And also like the choreography scene, like the studio scene, because that's what I'm a part of as well. And like it's really good to see the choreography, like the studio leaders coming together as well. Like we came together for a project with the Society, which is Una and her team, and we had Hybrids Creative, which is from up in Joondalup, and then we had Vanguard, which is where Denzel's teaching as well, and then we had us and then Society. So that collab alone helped us to build a better relationship and support base, so that when they do stuff we support, when we do stuff they support. And it makes it that much easier instead of trying to do it on your own, because when you do it on your own it's so hard. But when you've got support from everywhere else, it makes it that much better. So we're looking forward to collabing with more studios, other teams on different projects or competitions, whatever it may be. Just going with the flow and just letting it really not lead itself, but just believe in it and know that it can lead to something bigger. Because at the end of the day, we want not just the street dance, but just dance in general to be healthy in Perth as well. So,
hell yeah.
But yeah, so I've been watching all the different spheres of dance in my time, and while I've been here, and I'm just grateful just to be a part of it. And you know, I could have just stopped dancing and just stopped giving knowledge and just done my own thing, but I'm glad that me and my wife decided to just invest and support and just keep this dance form alive and fire, big bonfire, and that sorts of stuff. So
man, awesome.
Yeah.
That's so good to hear that from you. Fuck yeah, I didn't know you were involved with the do you call choreography scene as well? That's sick. Cool.
Yeah, I can do slow jams, bro.
I'm
such a R&B and the choreography scene definitely helps me to stay in touch with that side, and like everyone like sees me as a krumper, but then they get confused when they see me doing like a choreography piece, not doing krump, but like the textures are so different to what they used to see. Which is what I love. It's just dance is dance. If you're gonna be creative at everything, not just one sphere, you know. So
absolutely. There's no right or wrong, man.
Yeah, that's right. Art, art is art, and art can be erased and retouched up, and you know.
Do you find that choreography really helps with your krump?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it really does.
How so?
Musicality helps me out heaps because I have to teach these choreography classes, so I'm always aware of what's happening with the music, and so when it comes to krump, it gives me that edge to see and hit different things that people would never sort of look for. And also keeps me active. Otherwise I'll be just crumping and that'll be it. But like I have to condition myself because
makes you more disciplined.
Yeah, it does, definitely. Because you can't. Choreography is about, you know, when you're dancing in a team, especially like free fam, you've got to look the same. So like you've got to make sure that what you're doing is the same as the person that's next to you. Krump is so freestyle and individualized that you don't have to look like anyone, so it's all free reins, but super disciplined when it comes to crew dancing and that sort of stuff. So I
wanted to ask, is there anything coming up for Freedom? Any you guys are throwing? Any human works?
Yes. We are You heard it here first. No, you're getting the exclusive on this one. So we're currently in the process of securing our own location. Our own studio space, our own place to call home.
Wow.
And the heart of Coburn as well. Which is really good because when we started Freedom Academy and we looked at what was happening in the Coburn area, there wasn't anything for hip hop.
I know, right?
Yeah, and you'll know as
I
well.
grew up in Coburn.
Yeah,
a lot of my teams.
And so we're just lucky to have a place to call home, and the home of Coburn, which is the area that we're trying to service. And so that's around the corner. So watch this space, y'all. That'll be coming around soon. And also, we are gearing up for a competition, which is the Perth Dance Challenge, and we're entering a division called the Collaboration Division.
Wow,
so that's when two studios come together to compete together. So we're collaborating with the Hybrid Creatives, which is the team up in Joondalup, and we're teaming up with them for this competition. We're training. We trained up their way last week, and this week it's down our way. So we'll just alternate in between. But I think it's just good something for our guys to look forward to train to and work towards. So that we've got that, and then we've got me, Chrissy, and Will trying to whip together a little event for the school holidays for the ages of 18 and under only. Okay, so no adults, kids only, because we want this little thing that we're putting together is targeting the younger generation that's going to step into our shoes. So we're going to try and put something together to invest into these guys that want to learn whatever it is, Krump, breaking, locking, foundational hip-hop moves like New Jack Swing and all that sort of stuff. And provide a little program for them for the school holidays, which is what we're trying to put together there. And then we've got another big event which is happening at the end of the year, but I'll keep that on the low. But so that's basically us for the rest of the year. So
damn, man, you're doing a lot actually.
When do I have time to sleep?
Sick.
Thank you, man. Lastly, anyone that you want to see on this podcast?
Who would I like to see on this podcast? I'd actually like to see Una on this podcast. I think that'll be good.
We'll get there.
Yeah, for sure. I know she's always busy, but put some time together. I think that'll work. But
sick. Man, thank you so much for coming. It was really nice to have you. Bro, I reckon we could go on for like another hour.
I think so.
But we don't have that much.
Cool.
Well, put it there, man.
I appreciate you guys, and just keep doing what you guys are doing.
Me too.
And shout outs to these two right here. PCB podcast right here. Episode 11. Look out for episode 12.